In the shining halls of the Zorthian Galactic Council, the galaxy's most powerful leaders had gathered. Beings of all shapes and sizes filled the massive chamber. Floating in their seats, connected by mind links and light channels, the Council ruled thousands of planets and had existed for over 10,000 years. They had seen thousands of species rise and fall. But today, their attention was on a strange little world on the edge of the galaxy. That world was Earth. A large holoscreen lit up in the center of the chamber. It showed old, grainy footage taken from Earth. Humans in strange clothing, shouting in the middle of battle. Warriors on horses. Men in armor, fire, swords, explosions. The council chamber echoed with laughter. One tall, golden-skinned alien from the Viri Empire spoke first. "Is this a documentary? These creatures fought with sticks and metal suits?" Another, with tentacles floating like smoke, added, "One human claimed to fight with honor. What is this honor? Is it a weapon?" Laughter again. The holoscreen changed. Now it showed images of human legends, paintings, books, and digital media. Spartans fighting thousands, samurais standing alone, Vikings charging without fear, soldiers leaping from planes into war. They even wrote songs about war. Said a young insect-like ambassador from the hive worlds. "Listen to this one. We will fight on the beaches. Single quotes. How poetic and pointless." The room enjoyed the joke. The council believed Earth was weak, primitive, and emotional. They had allowed it to develop slowly without contact. Now some of their youngest species had intercepted Earth's broadcasts, and they couldn't stop laughing. But not everyone laughed. Sitting far in the back, almost hidden in the shadows, was a silent figure. His armor was old, scratched, and burned in places. A strange scar ran from his jaw to his shoulder, a wound not many beings could survive. His name was Kelver, a warrior of the Zarn Dominion, and once the most feared fighter of his time. Kelver had seen many wars. He had faced monsters made of fire, machines that could melt cities, and planets that screamed before they died. But nothing haunted him more than Earth. He had been there. He had fought them, and he had barely escaped alive. The council leader, a bright blue being made of pure energy named Sharatel, turned to the crowd. "Let it be known," Sharatel sighed, "that Earth has no threat to the galaxy. They are still in the phase of telling stories instead of writing history." The chamber nodded in agreement. "Therefore," Sharatel continued, "we allow the new generation to explore and observe Earth, for education, for entertainment." Cheer rose among the young alien explorers. Kelver's eyes narrowed. His clawed hand clenched slowly. He looked up, his deep voice rising for the first time. "You should not go." The chamber went silent. All eyes turned to him. "What did you say, Kelver?" asked Sharatel, annoyed. "You were not given permission to speak." "I speak not for permission," he said. "I speak from memory." The young insect ambassador laughed. "You were on Earth once, weren't you? Long ago. Did they hurt your pride?" Kelver stood slowly. His armor creaked, old but strong. His voice stayed calm. "They did more than that." Flashback begins years ago. Kelver had been part of a small Zarn scouting team sent to Earth. The planet was marked as low risk, unarmed, and unorganized. The team expected a quick mission. Kelver had laughed when they landed. Then came the nightfall. Their ship was attacked, not by ships, not by lasers, but by humans who moved like shadows. They used terrain, weather, even silence as weapons. By one, his team disappeared. Some were taken in complete silence. Others left only blood. Kelver never forgot the face of the last human he saw, a soldier, half burned, half frozen, with a broken weapon in his hand. The human had smiled, even while dying. "You're not the first to land here," the man had said. "But maybe you'll be the first to leave." Kelver had escaped. But his scars, both on the body and in the mind, never left him. Flashback. Ends now. In the council chamber, Calver stood tall. You see stories. I saw warriors, he said. You see weakness, I saw will. One of the council members sneered. They are extinct now, aren't they? What threat do legends pose? Calver's eyes glowed dimly. Legends are not born from nothing. They are born from truth. Charatel waved a glowing hand. Enough, you speak of fear. We speak of fact. Earth is just a planet of storytellers. Calver looked around the room at all the faces that had never felt fear, never bled in. Battle. He wanted to shout, to scream, but instead he gave a small nod. As you wish, he said quietly. He turned and left the chamber. Scene cut, somewhere deep in space far away. In the shadow of Earth's moon, a hidden satellite blinked. It had been asleep for a long time. But now, after detecting council ships moving toward Earth, it woke up. Inside the satellite, old systems activated. Messages began to move across Earth's hidden networks. Across deserts, oceans, and mountains, signals were received. In a small cabin in Alaska, an old man picked up a radio. In Tokyo, a young woman left her dojo and looked at the sky. In Nigeria, a soldier buried deep in the jungle opened a long-sealed box. Earth was not unprepared. Earth had been watching. They always knew the stars might laugh, but they also knew one day the stars might come closer. Back to the council, young alien cadets began preparing for their Earth tour. It was being called the Mockery Mission, a name meant to be funny, but Calver knew what was coming. In his private ship, he stood silently, looking at an old map of Earth. He pressed one button. A secret drawer opened. Inside it was a broken piece of Earth steel, a small dog tag, burned and bent. The name on it was barely visible. LTJR Monroe. Calver touched it gently. They think it's a game, he whispered. They'll learn. Final scene. Camera pans to space. We see the council ships heading toward Earth, laughing, joking. But Earth is waking up, and somewhere on the dark side of the moon, a single human satellite plays an old message on loop. If you are hearing this, you are not the first to come, but you may be the last to leave. 3 sleek alien ships break through Earth's atmosphere, glowing with neon blue light. The young alien cadets on board are excited, laughing, filming, live streaming their exploration. Back to their home planets, one of them, Revik, a proud Virelian, speaks into the camera with a grin. We've arrived on Earth, the land of myths and memes. Let's see if the barbarians left any bones behind. Behind him, 2 others laugh. Zin, with bright green eyes and too much confidence, and Thieve, a quiet tech specialist. Their mission was simple: land, record, mock, leave. The council called it a learning tour. The cadets called it a vacation. No one expected resistance. They had been told, no human military left. No defense systems detected. Earth was deadly boring, but no one had told them what Calver had seen. Scene shift. The Earth landing. The ships land in what used to be Scotland, near a forest once called Cairngorms. A place once full of human history, now overgrown with nature. Revik steps onto the ground, armored boots pressing into moss and dirt. He laughs. So this is it? This is the mighty Earth? I expected more fire and blood. Suddenly, his visor glitches. A shadow moves in the distance. He looks again. Nothing. Zin walks ahead, scanning. Life signs, birds, insects, maybe a few mammals. No humans. They begin to explore. Thief finds something strange, a metal box, buried under the dirt. He brushes it off. It reads, Project Claymore, do not disturb. He opens it. Click. Beep. They all freeze. Too late. The trap. A blinding light bursts from the ground. Silent drones rise from the trees. No sound, no warning. They aren't alien. They're human-made. Old tech but upgraded. Sharp. Fast. One drone Slices Revik's armor clean open. Another hits Zin with a silent dart. His body stiffens instantly. Thief runs. Panting, trying to signal the ship, he makes it halfway. Boom! The ground beneath him explodes. Scene. A shadow in the trees high above. A figure watches through a scope. Not alien, human, camouflage, cold eyes, no movement. A silent whisper in his earpiece. Target group neutralized. Leave one breathing. The sniper nods. From the drone. A signal is sent to orbit. Scene. Calver's ship. Calver's face hardens as he reads the report. Alien scout team. Status, compromised. Survivors, 1. Location, Earth, Grid 14B. He slams his hand. On the control panel, they didn't listen. Now they would pay the price. Calver grabs his gear. He isn't waiting for orders. He's going back to Earth, not for a fight, but for a warning. Scene. Earth, underground facility. Thiv wakes up inside a dark room. His arms are bound. His helmet is gone. A human steps into the light. Old, calm, deadly. You came looking for legends? The man says, now you've met one. The man steps closer. Shows him a screen. Footage of Spartans, Marines, Samurai, Resistance fighters. We don't forget, we just wait. Thief stares. Shocked. You were supposed to be extinct. The man smirks. We were supposed to be a joke, remember? Scene. The message back in orbit. Calver sends a coded message to the council. Only one line. Recall your children. Or bury them. No reply. He prepares to land. Final scene. In the shadows of Earth, more hidden bases awaken. Old satellites blink. Forgotten bunkers open. Earth's defenses weren't gone. They were sleeping. And now, they weren't sleeping anymore. Ending line. Voiceover style. They came to laugh at legends. Now they run from ghosts. The stars outside Calver's ship moved slowly as he traveled back to Earth. His scarred face was quiet, full of old pain and old memories. He didn't speak much. He just prepared. Years ago, Earth had nearly killed him. Now he was going back, not as an enemy, but as a warning. His ship cut through the clouds and landed quietly in a forest near where the alien scouts had been. Attacked, Calver stepped out. The air smelled fresh, but heavy with danger. He knew Earth was not empty. Far below the trees, he found the remains of the scout team, broken armor, scorch marks, and strange devices that hummed softly. Then, movement. Figures appeared from the shadows. Humans, not like the weak creatures the council had imagined, but strong, trained, and alert. One human stepped forward, a woman in her 30s, sharp eyes, and calm voice. You're not welcome here, she said. Calver nodded slowly. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to warn my people. She looked confused. Your people? You're one of them? Yes, he said, but I have fought with humans before. I know what they can do. The woman didn't smile. Then you know why we hide, why we prepare. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the trees. More aliens' new forces sent by the council were coming. The woman shouted orders into a radio. Defensive positions. Protect the perimeter. Calver didn't hesitate. He raised his weapon and stood beside her. The battle started fast. Aliens charged through the forest, their weapons blazing bright. Humans used the trees, the shadows, and traps. Calver saw the humans fighting with skill, more than skill, something like honor. He realized the legends were true. During a brief pause, Calver asked the woman, "Who are you?" She answered simply, "We are the last defenders of Earth's old ways, warriors who never gave up." Calver felt a strange respect. For the first time, he wasn't the hunter or the hunted. He was an ally. The battle raged until the alien reinforcements were forced to retreat. Kale, Vior looked at the human soldiers. They are not just stories, he said quietly. They are legends. As night fell, Calver sat beside the campfire with the humans. They shared stories, old battles, Lost friends, promises to protect their home. Calver touched the old dog tag he kept in his pocket, a symbol of his past failure and his new hope. Ending line, voiceover style. He returned to a world that once nearly broke him. Now he fights beside those he once feared. The battle for Earth was just beginning. Far across the galaxy, the Zorthian Galactic Council sat in their grand chamber again. This time, it was quiet. No jokes. No laughter, only confusion. And fear. One of the senior advisors, a three-eyed being from the Avarax system, stood in the center of the room. He pressed a button. The holoscreen flickered to life. Footage from the failed scout mission played, screaming, explosions, soldiers in armor falling one by one. A human voice saying, "Welcome to Earth." Another ambassador stood up quickly. "That's impossible. Earth has no active military." A second shouted, "They were supposed to be extinct." And then, a final image appeared. Calver, standing beside a group of human fighters. Shoulder to shoulder, united. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Scene shift. A secret room in the council. High-ranking council members met in private. The young insectoid ambassador from Part 1, now pale and shaking, asked, "What are they?" A quiet voice answered from the dark, "Earth was never weak. We were just too proud to see it." It was Alaric, a strategist who once studied ancient Earth transmissions. She stood slowly and activated a hidden map. "This planet hides in plain sight," she said. "Their cities may have fallen, but their people never did. They are not just warriors, they are survivors." Back on Earth, hidden human base Calver stood before a large underground screen. Around him were men and women, young and old. Some wore armor, others carried ancient weapons. He looked at a man sharpening a blade. "You still use steel?" The man smiled. "We use what works." Calver nodded. "What is this place?" he asked. The woman commander from Part 3 replied. "Cody name, Haven, one of many. When the world burned, we didn't run. We dug, and we waited." She turned to her soldiers. "The stars forgot us, but now they've remembered, so we remind them who we are." Scene. Another alien attack. A small alien strike team landed in the ruins of an old Earth city, once called New York. They were expecting ruins, silence. Instead, they found traps, snipers, and resistance. The aliens screamed for help, but no help came. A voice played over their coms. "You came here for sport. Now you're part of the lesson." Scene. The council panics. More reports came in. Earth defense bunkers active in Siberia. Satellite counterhacks from old U.S. systems. Unseen missiles from underwater silos. The council had never seen Earth fight like this. Worse, humans weren't using new tech. They were using old tech. Old, but smart. And deadly. One council member finally whispered what no one wanted to say. "We laughed at ghosts, but the ghosts were real." Calver's decision. Calver stood with the human commander. "I will not return to the council," he said. "They will call you a traitor," she warned. He looked at the stars. "I was never truly one of them." Then he looked at the humans, bruised but standing strong. "I'd rather stand with those who remember pain than with those who forget it ever existed." Ending scene. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. Earth is not empty. Earth is not weak. Earth remembers. Fear spread through the stars. And Earth was just getting started. Final voiceover line. They thought Earth was finished. Now, they fear Earth is awake. The sky above Earth was quiet, but deep under the oceans and mountains, Earth was waking up. For years, humans had hidden. Now, they were done hiding. Scene. Haven Base, War Room. Calver stood in front of an old holographic map. Lights blinked. Across Earth, green meant active. Red meant lost. More green appeared every day. The woman commander, Ilara, entered the room. "We've rebuilt satellites," she said. "We see them now. Every ship, every orbit. Calver looked up, and Ilara smirked. They're watching us. He nodded, then let them watch as we strike. Scene: Operation Echo Hammer in an underground hangar. Ancient jets and new drones stood side by side. Soldiers prepared for a mission, not seen in over 100 years, a counterattack into space. A mix of veterans and young fighters loaded gear. They had no shiny tech, no backup fleets. Just grit and rage and memory. Scene: Orbital ambush above Earth. A small alien patrol ship floated, watching. Suddenly static, then silence. Boom. An Earth-made drone, cloaked in old stealth tech, slammed into the alien ship. Two more followed. Inside the council's listening station, alarms blared. Earth forces in orbit? That's not possible. But it was. Scene: Broadcast from Earth. Hijacked a council broadcast. An old man's face appeared scarred, proud. To the stars, he said. You thought we were broken, but we never stopped training, never stopped building, never forgot what you did. Behind him, soldiers standing in rows, holding Earth flags and wearing old emblems. You invaded our world. You mocked our past. Now you face the truth. Humanity fights back. Scene: The council in chaos. The council room filled with shouting. How did they reach orbit? They're using pre-Exodus code. We can't track it. One general warned, if they reach our moons, we may not stop them. Another whispered, they were only supposed to survive, not fight. But humanity didn't just survive. They learned, adapted, evolved, and now they were in the sky again. Scene: Kelver on the battlefield. Kellerf stepped out of a captured alien dropship into the wreckage of a council outpost on Pharos 9. Human fighters surrounded him. Alien tech burned behind them. He looked at the fallen banners of the council. They said Earth was a forgotten world, he whispered. But it's their future they should fear now. Ending scene: Across the galaxy, whispers began in dark corners. Earth has weapons again. Humans are fighting in space. Earth's ghosts are coming, and in every whisper, there was fear. Final voiceover line: You can conquer land. You can silence history, but you can never kill memory. Earth remembers, and Earth strikes back. The silence of deep space was broken by fire. Earth's ships, old but strong, now floated beside council warships. This was the first time in history that humans had left their system to fight, not to explore, not to surrender, but to strike back. Above the mining world of Vexor 7, a council colony known for its rich energy cores. The first battle between Earth and the council had begun. Scene: Earth's hidden fleet in the command ship Iron Dawn. General Mara Lin, a battle-hardened woman in her 50s, stared at the enemy fleet on the screen. They outnumbered her side 5-1. She didn't blink. All units ready? She asked. A young officer nodded. Old engines, patched weapons, but every ship's loaded. Mara smiled. That's all we need. Behind her, Calver stood silently, wearing human armor now black and marked with old Earth flags. They still don't take you seriously, he said. Mara turned to him. Good. Let them laugh. One last time. Scene: The enemy awaits on the council flagship Solar Mercy. Admiral Trevax laughed as he watched Earth's ships approach. Is this it? Rust and rockets? He mocked. His second-in-command, Yeltri, frowned. They took down our scout base on Pharos 9, and that wasn't luck. Trevax waved it off. Please. We've faced warlords, AI rebellions, and plasma storms. These apes fly with scrap and pride. He didn't know. That was exactly Earth's advantage. Scene: Battle begins suddenly. Earth's fleet moved, not in straight lines. Not like trained fleets. They weaved, broke apart, faked retreats. Old tactics mixed with new ideas. One Earthship, Falcon's Fist, went straight toward the enemy cruiser and then vanished. Seconds later, It reappeared behind them and fired missiles straight into their thrusters. The Council ship spun out, crashing into its ally. Travax jumped to his feet. How did they do that? Yeltri studied the feed. They're using signal delay. Disguised warp jumps, low energy cloaking, Travax growled. Where did primitives learn that? Scene. Calver boards the enemy Keelver, led a small Earth team onto a damaged enemy vessel. Inside, Council guards waited, but they weren't ready for Calver's fury or Earth's tactics. Flash grenades exploded. Human soldiers moved fast, shooting, disabling, securing. Calver used a blade, not a blaster. Silent, swift, deadly. He grabbed a captured enemy officer. Tell them, he said, Earth is here. He dropped a beacon, and the team teleported out. Seconds later, the enemy ship exploded. Scene. Council panic on a faraway Council moon. Leaders watched the feed with horror. A younger leader whispered, how did they plan this? Illyric, the strategist from before, stepped forward. They used our arrogance. We gave them time. We gave them silence. Another member shouted, we must crush Earth now. But Illyric shook her head. We already gave them the weapon they needed, a reason to fight. Scene, ground war. Vexor 7 as the fleet battled above. Earth dropped special forces on the surface. They didn't land in cities. They landed in the mines, deep underground. The Council never expected that. Within hours, the humans had shut down energy production and captured key tunnels. General Murat's voice echoed through the comms. You wanted a fight. We brought it home. Scene, loss and courage, but Earth paid a price. 3 ships were destroyed. Hundreds of soldiers lost. A young pilot, Diaz, flew his ship into a Council destroyer's bridge to save the rest of the fleet. His last words, broadcast before the impact, became a call across the galaxy. Tell them, Earth remembers. Scene. Calver's reflection after the battle. Calver sat alone in a metal corridor. He looked at an old human photo, a black and white image of a family standing beside a tank. Smiling. Proud. Human. Elar. A approached. You're quiet, he nodded. I once thought Earth was dangerous because of its soldiers. I was wrong. What is it then? She asked. Calver looked at the photo again. It's their will. They don't fight to win. They fight because they refuse to fall. Scene. Aftermath. The Council fled VXAR-7. Earth didn't destroy everything. They took only what was needed and left a message carved into the surface of the planet. We are still here. Across alien worlds, people whispered, Earth is not lost. The humans are rising. They defeated a fleet with broken ships. Some called them fools, but more started to believe. Final scene. Back on Earth at Haven Base. Children watched a screen showing Earth's first victory in space. An old man stood with them, smiling. He had fought in the last war before Earth fell. He turned to the kids. You wanted to hear a story? Here's one. They thought we were gone, but we were just waiting for the stars to come back. Final voiceover, closing line. In the cold dark of space, Earth lit a fire, and now the galaxy watches it burn. Opening scene. Council High Command, Planet Ovalarth. Council was no longer calm. Dozens of alien leaders argued inside a dark meeting chamber. Holograms showed the battle of Vexor 7 Earth ships winning, Council soldiers falling, and Earth's message left behind. We are still here. Sharatel, the energy being who once laughed at Earth, was now furious. This has gone too far, she snapped. We were supposed to teach them a lesson. Now we look like fools. An old general, his metal arm shaking, stood up. Then stop talking. Send everything. End them before others start to rise too. The Council voted. The full invasion was approved. More than 10,000 ships, 10 legions of ground troops, super weapons never used before, all aimed at one small blue planet. Earth. Scene. Haven Base, Earth Alara. The human commander stood before her soldiers in a deep mountain base. A giant screen showed the enemy fleet moving closer. "They're coming," she said. "This time, not with scouts or drones. They're bringing their entire army." No one looked surprised. No one looked afraid. She pointed to the screen. "Good, now we know where to find them." Calver stepped forward, his black armor scarred, but shining in the torchlight. "The Council has never sent this much force to any world," he said. "But they've never fought humans." A few soldiers smiled. "We cannot win by strength," Ilara continued. "But we win by something more dangerous." She paused, letting her words hang. "Memory. Rage. Unity. Scene. The world unites around." The globe. Humans activated everything they had left. In the frozen Arctic, old nuclear subs rose from beneath the ice. In the jungles of South America, hidden tribes brought out ancient weapons fused with new tech. In the deserts of Africa, old satellites blinked awake and linked into Earth's defense grid. From New Zealand to Canada, from the oceans to the sky, humanity was one. For the first time in 100 years, Earth had a global army, and they were ready. Seen. Children of legends. Not all who prepared were soldiers. In an old village in China, monks opened scrolls passed down since the old wars. A small boy trained with a sword made of iron and fire. In Scotland, a woman in her 70s picked up her grandfather's rifle and began teaching her neighbors. In Japan, exosuits designed by underground engineers were tested in silence. Calver walked through a city filled with young humans training, building, thinking. "They do not fight to destroy," he whispered. "They fight to protect what can't be replaced." Scene. First contact. Earth orbit. The sky above Earth turned black. The Council's fleet arrived. So large, it blocked sunlight over entire continents. Alarms screamed, but the humans didn't run. Instead, they moved. Underground. Into mountains. Into deep oceans. And into the stars. Earth's own fleet, now repaired and upgraded, rose to meet the enemy. Old junk ships fused with alien parts. Simple, rough, but dangerous. The battle for the sky had begun. Scene. Ground invasion begins. The Council dropped soldiers across every major Earth region. Giant machines landed in cities. War beasts roared in jungles. Troops tried to take over human bases. They thought it would be easy. It WSN single quotes T. Earth had turned itself into one giant trap. Cities exploded the moment they were occupied. Drones hidden in statues, and ruins fired from behind. Every building had tunnels. Every home had fighters. Every mountain had missiles. Council troops were strong, but they couldn't understand the chaos humans lived in and fought through. Scene. The shield falls on the 5th day of battle. Earth's defense grid started to collapse. The sky was full of burning ships. Smoke covered half the planet. Calver stood beside Ilara inside a bunker deep in the Rockies. "We're losing," she said quietly. "Yes," Calver replied, "but so are they." He pointed at the data screen. Council losses were higher than predicted. "They didn't expect you to bleed so slowly," he added. "They thought you'd fall fast, but humans, you never fall fast." Scene. The turning point. Operation Iron Echo. Mara Lin, the Earth General, sent a last command. Across all remaining channels. All forces, final phase. Operation Iron Echo. We go now or we go never. In that moment, everything changed. Earth didn't wait anymore. They attacked all at once, from air, sea, ground, and orbit. Calver led a joint human-alien team deep into the command ship of the enemy fleet. In Antarctica, exosuit troops launched a suicidal rush through enemy lines. In space, 3 human ships rammed into Council, carriers destroying themselves to break the enemy wall. They weren't just soldiers, they were legends in motion. Scene. Losses and sacrifice. Many died. Ilara's second-in-command, Captain Rao, stayed behind to overload a reactor and destroy 3 enemy dropships. Mara Lin's ship was hit, and she ordered the crew to leave. She stayed alone, firing the last cannon until her screen went black. Kelver was wounded, blood running from his shoulder. He refused to stop. "Not yet," he growled. "I promised them. I promised." Scene: the fire within. In one final push, the humans reached the Council's main command ship. Inside it, Sheratel waited, glowing brighter than ever, holding a weapon of pure energy. "You are fools," she screamed. "This world will burn." Alara and Kelver stood across from her. Kelver spoke first. "No," he said. "You made one mistake." She laughed. "And what's that?" He pointed to Alara. "You thought they were afraid." Then Alara whispered into her, "Come, now." From orbit, a beam of light fell. A satellite weapon hidden for years, activated. It the Council ship directly. Sheratel screamed. And then silence. Scene: the battle ends. The enemy fleet began to break. Without their leader, the Council ships lost direction. Earth's remaining ships pushed hard. Kelver, bleeding but standing, looked up at the sky. The fire was fading. Smoke cleared, and Earth was still there. Scene: after the fire in the ruins of London. A small girl walked through the rubble, holding her father's hand. Around her, people rebuilt. Not with machines, with hands. With will. Kelver walked with Alara through the city. "Will they be safe now?" he asked. Alara looked at the people. The children, the flags flying again. "For a while," she said. "And when danger returns, we'll be ready." Kelver nodded. "You always are." Final voiceover. This was not the end. It was not the beginning. It was the moment the galaxy understood. Earth does not fall, it only rises. Opening scene. 3 days after the war, smoke still rose from Earth's skies, but the thunder of war was gone. Across the world, cities stood broken, but not silent. People walked through rubble, carrying tools instead of guns. Children painted flags on broken walls. Soldiers helped rebuild homes, not destroy them. In the high mountains of South Asia, Alara stood beside a small group of survivors. She looked tired, her uniform torn, face marked with soot, but her eyes still burned with fire. Kelver walked beside her, his step slower now. A deep wound across his chest had barely healed, but he stood straight, proud. "Is it over?" she asked. Kelver looked up at the sky. Ships still floated above, but none fired. None attacked. "For now," he said. "But peace, it never lasts forever." Alara nodded. "Then let's make the most of it." Scene: Council in ruins far across the galaxy. The Zorthian Council was broken. Its mighty chamber was now a shadow of itself, half empty, quiet. Those who once laughed at Earth now spoke in hushed tones. No one dared call humans primitive anymore. No one made jokes about Earth's myths. Illyric, the strategist who had once warned the others, now stood as the acting speaker. She turned to the few remaining council leaders. "We lost not because they were stronger," she said, "but because they believed harder. They fought with nothing, and yet they won." There were no arguments this time. Scene: Earth's honor ceremony. Haven Base back on Earth. In a rebuilt part of Haven Base, leaders from across human nations gathered. Not all had survived, but those who did came with heads held high. Names of the fallen were carved into the steel walls of the war hall. Hundreds, thousands. Among the names, one small plaque stood apart. It read, "Diaz, pilot, gave his life so others could live. Rao, officer, held the line to the very end. General Mara Lin, tell them Earth remembers." Alara stood before the wall and placed a single flower. Kelver stood silently beside her. "These people, they weren't just warriors," he said. "They were stories waiting to be told." Scene: a galaxy in change. News spread across other planets. Species once ruled by the Council began to rise up. Some held Earth's flag in protest. Others copied Earth's tactics to fight. back against their own oppressors. One planet painted murals of human fighters with the words, "They stood when no one else did." A resistance leader from the moon of Draxus said to her people, "If Earth could survive the Council, we can survive anything." Earth had become more than a planet. It had become a symbol. Scene: Calver's decision. Calver stood at the top of a hill, watching Earth's first spaceport being rebuilt. Humans now worked side by side with alien engineers. The stars were open again, but now Earth would choose when to travel. Elra walked up beside him. "They're offering you a council seat," she said. Calver didn't turn. "I don't need power," she smiled. "Then what do you want?" He finally looked at her. "To help build," he said. "To protect. Maybe to belong." For the first time, Calver wasn't a soldier running from his past. He was part of Earth's future. Scene: the final broadcast. The rebuilt Earth network lit up. Every screen across the world and many beyond showed Ilara standing in front of Earth's united flag. Her voice was calm but strong. "To the people of Earth, to our friends in the stars, we did not win because we had the most weapons. We did not win because we were the most advanced. We won because we refused to kneel. We are not monsters. We do not want war. But if it comes again, we will fight, because we are human. And we remember." The speech echoed across space. Scene: flashbacks, montage style, as her words played. Images flashed across the screen. The burning skies of Vexor 7. Human soldiers in trenches, covered in dirt, but still firing. Calver bleeding beside a human medic, refusing to fall. Mara Lynn firing her final shot. Children running through ruins, laughing again. A boy holding up a banner that reads, "We are still here." Scene: one last message in a quiet room. Calver sat alone. He recorded a private message to be sent to any future enemy that dared to test Earth. His voice was calm. No anger, just truth. "If you come to Earth, bring more than ships. Bring more than armies, because here you will find something you cannot kill." He held up a small old dog tag, one from the first time he fought humans. "You will find people who would rather burn than bow." He ended the message with one word: remember. Scene: a child's eyes in a quiet village rebuilt from the ashes. A young girl named Lyra looked up at the stars. She had lost her parents in the invasion, but now she was safe. She sat with her grandfather, an old man with white hair and a calm voice. "Will they come back?" she asked. The old man smiled softly. "Maybe," he said. "But if they do, they'll know what happened last time." He looked up at the stars with her. "You come from a world that stood against the galaxy," he said. "Never forget that." Final scene: Earth rises again. We see Earth from space. Ships leave the planet, some human, some alien, all rebuilt with Earth's design, but no weapons. No war. This time, they carry explorers, builders, teachers. Humanity has changed. It didn't just survive. It earned its place among the stars. And now, it was ready to lead. Final voiceover line: "The galaxy once laughed at Earth's stories. Then Earth wrote a new one, with blood, with fire, and with hope. Legends never die. They rise,